I knew a man who was genuinely good, honest in every deal, fair to every person, kind in every interaction. He died broke, betrayed, and forgotten. Meanwhile, the people who lied to him, used him, and stepped on him, they're thriving. This isn't a sad story about injustice. This is a warning about the actual cost of being too good in a world that rewards something else entirely. Nobody wants to admit this because it sounds evil, but goodness has a price tag. And in the real world, that price is almost always paid in lost opportunities, wasted time, and systematic exploitation. Not because being good is wrong, but because being good in a competitive environment is like showing up to a knife fight with a hug. The first way goodness destroys you is through paralysis. Good people deliberate endlessly. They want to make sure their decision doesn't hurt anyone. They consider every perspective, trying to find a solution that makes everyone happy. This sounds noble until you realize that while you're deliberating, ruthless people are acting. They don't care who gets hurt. They see an opportunity and take it immediately. By the time you've finished your moral calculation, the opportunity is gone and they own it. Ethical companies spend months debating a strategy. Ruthless competitors implement it tomorrow and own the market. Speed beats fairness. Action beats consideration. The second way goodness destroys you is through misplaced trust. Good people operate on an assumption that's completely false. They assume other people share their values. They think, I would never betray someone who helped me, so the people I help won't betray me. This is delusional. People will absolutely betray you if it benefits them enough, regardless of what you've done for them. Not because they're monsters, but because when self-interest conflicts with loyalty, self-interest wins almost every time. You give someone a chance when nobody else would. You mentor them, promote them, trust them. The moment they can advance. By betraying you, a significant percentage of people will do it. They'll justify it to themselves, saying, it's just business. Your goodness created the opportunity for them to rise, and they used that opportunity to destroy you. The third way goodness destroys you is financial. Genuinely good people don't pursue wealth aggressively because aggressive wealth accumulation requires moral compromise. You have to underpay people to maximize profit. You have to manipulate consumers to drive sales. You have to exploit market inefficiencies that hurt others. Good people won't do these things, so they plateau economically while people with fewer scruples get rich. This isn't theoretical. Look at any industry. The most ethical companies are rarely the most profitable. The most honest salespeople rarely make the most money. Why? Because the market rewards effectiveness, not kindness. Goodness is a competitive disadvantage in economic systems designed for profit maximization. The fourth way goodness destroys you is through energy depletion. Being consistently good is exhausting. You have to monitor your behavior constantly. You have to resist temptations that would make your life easier. You have to hold yourself to standards that nobody else follows. This creates a massive psychological burden that ruthless people simply don't carry. While you're agonizing over whether you are completely fair in every interaction, they're sleeping soundly after doing whatever was necessary. This energy differential compounds over time. You're getting more tired while they're staying fresh. Eventually, you're too exhausted to compete effectively, because you're carrying the weight of constant moral evaluation. The fifth way goodness destroys you is through strategic isolation. When you're genuinely ethical in an unethical environment, you become a threat, not because you're powerful, but because your presence highlights everyone else's moral compromises. You make people uncomfortable just by existing with standards. So, they isolate you. They stop including you in meetings where questionable decisions get made. They exclude you from opportunities that require moral flexibility. You think you're maintaining your integrity, and you are, but you're also being systematically removed from anything that matters. The decisions get made without you. The opportunities go to people willing to compromise. You end up morally pure and completely ineffective. The sixth way goodness destroys you is that it makes you predictable, and predictability is weakness. Good people have patterns. They'll always try to be fair. They'll always give second chances. They'll always assume the best in people. Ruthless people study these patterns and exploit them. They know exactly how to manipulate you, because your goodness creates reliable responses. They fake remorse because they know you'll forgive. They create emergencies because they know you'll help. Your goodness isn't a strength or respect. It's a vulnerability they exploit. And the more consistently good you are, the easier you are to manipulate. Unpredictability keeps people cautious. Goodness makes you an easy target. The seventh way goodness destroys you is through the standards trap. Good people hold themselves to standards that nobody else follows, then punish themselves when they fail to meet them. You make one ethical compromise and torture yourself for weeks. Meanwhile, people around you make worse compromises daily and feel nothing. Your conscience is a burden they don't carry. This creates a weird paradox, where the best people feel the worst about themselves and the worst people feel great. Your high standards become a form of self-destruction. The eighth and most important way goodness destroys you. It requires power to be sustainable. But good people refuse to pursue power, because pursuing power requires getting your hands dirty. So you stay powerless and good, which means your goodness affects nothing and nobody. Meanwhile, ruthless people gain power and use it selfishly, which affects everything. Here's the brutal truth. If you want your goodness to matter in the world, you need power first. But gaining power requires strategic ruthlessness. You have to outmaneuver competitors. You have to make hard decisions that hurt some people. You have to prioritize your advancement over other people's comfort. Good people won't do this, so they never gain the power necessary to make their goodness matter at scale. The world is not set up to reward goodness. It's set up to reward effectiveness. Sometimes those overlap. Often they don't. When they don't, good people lose and ruthless people win. This isn't about abandoning morality. This is about understanding that pure goodness without strategic thinking is just weakness wrapped in virtue. The truly dangerous people aren't always good or always ruthless. They're good when they can afford it and ruthless when survival requires it. Being good costs more than most people realize, and the world makes you pay that price every single day. This isn't about becoming evil. This is about counting the cost and deciding if you're willing to pay it. Subscribe for truths that actually prepare you for reality. In the comments, tell me, what has being the good cost you? My next video will be on how the world breaks you unless you learn to fight back.